Okay, this is going to be my reaction to David Benavidez, Anthony Yarde, the fight that just took place. And I'm also going to react to Devin Haney and Brian Norman Jr. And I'm going to start with the Devin Haney fight. Now, I was definitely wrong in my prediction. Devin Haney swept the fight. He definitely won, I would say, 11 to 12 rounds. It wasn't really competitive. He definitely outclassed Brian Norman Jr. Now, when I made my prediction, I picked Brian Norman Jr. to get the victory. I didn't pick him because I thought that he was better than Devin Haney. I thought that Devin Haney was damaged goods. I thought that he was sort of mentally scarred. He really couldn't pull the trigger anymore. I think that, he was scared to get hit because of the Ryan Garcia fight, and he was just pretty much that he just lost a lot of confidence, and mentally I don't think that he was there, but he definitely proved me wrong. I rarely get boxing tips wrong, and this is definitely one that I got wrong. This was classic Devin Haney. Everything that Devin Haney does good, he did in this fight, and it was really a tremendous performance. It's one of his best performances. Brian Norman Jr., I've only I haven't seen too many of his fights before this. Like I said in my prediction, I really picked him because I thought that Devin Haney was not 100% mentally. I didn't really pick him because I was so confident in his skills. Haney was right when he said that. He was a class above. One thing with Devin Haney is he's a master of distance. He's a master of distance. And one thing is this, if you're flat-footed, then you're not really going to have a chance against Devin Haney because you're not really going to get a chance to hit him. And Brian Norman Jr., yeah, he might have some boxing skill. He might have power. He might have good timing and things like that. But if you don't have good footwork, you're not going to touch Devin Haney, and he couldn't touch him. And he didn't really move his head at all. Didn't move his head. Devin Haney had a brilliant game plan. I mean, when he came out and you hurt him straight away, that's the key to beat a puncher, is to hurt him straight away in the first couple of rounds. And I definitely think that he stunned Brian Norman Jr. in the second round. The knockdown was a bit of a flash knockdown, but I think he hurt him with some left hooks. And possibly, he could have got him out of there if he was a little more aggressive, Devin Haney. But this fight helped him a lot. I think that his confidence, it just grew tremendously from this fight. Depending on if Ryan Garcia wins his fight against Mario Barrios, I think it's going to be, a massive unification fight between Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia. But yeah, tremendous performance by Devin Haney. He is a great fighter. Great fighter. A lot of people are saying that he's still got that same boring style, but that's what he does, that's why he's great. Andre Ward was the type of fighter where he would use the jab and he would, be very good with the left hand, with the lead hand, and he would tie up a lot. Devin Haney, he doesn't have a crowd-pleasing style at all, but he's a very technically sound fighter. He does everything right, and I guess if he had concussive power, he would be one of the all-time greats in boxing. But yeah, definitely looking forward to seeing. I want to see him against Ryan Garcia. I want to see him against Conor Benn. Conor Benn, I think, is a lot more explosive than Brian Norman Jr. I think Conor Benn's a lot better than Brian Norman Jr. But Devin Haney, he won tonight. He silenced a lot of his critics. He silenced a lot of his doubters, and I was one of them. Now, the main event, David Benavidez and Anthony Yarde. That fight pretty much went how I thought it would go. David Benavidez, he has been fighting, in his last couple of fights, movers. Guys that, good boxers, guys that like to move a lot. And, I think that's why he hasn't really got off the stoppage wins, I think, in a while. But Anthony Yarde, in this fight, I'm not going to lie, I did think he was going to get stopped, but I thought that he would sort of put up a harder fight than that. He really just backed up most of the fight. And I think that in the back of his mind, his worst enemy, in my opinion, is his stamina. So I don't think he wanted to throw too many punches. He was sort of saving his energy, but he ended up getting tired anyway. Benavidez is very tough. He has a chin. So one punch is really not going to do it. That's why Anthony Yarde, he was throwing maybe one hard shot at a time, but against a guy like Benavidez, that's not going to do anything. And that's the same way, if Benavidez ever fought Canelo, I think that's, the fight would be the same. I think that Benavidez would overwhelm Canelo because Canelo's the type of guy where he throws one hard shot at a time. But yeah, textbook performance by Benavidez. I mean, he can be one of the all-time greats if he keeps going the way he's going. I definitely think that he needs some signature wins. Bivol is right there for him. Beterbiev is another one. If he fights one of those two guys, I think that Bivol for him would be a better fight because he's younger. I don't know if he's got a fight announced, but I think that, yeah, Bivol and Benavidez, that's the fight that's going to take him to the next level, up the pound-for-pound list. But I think next for Benavidez, I think he said after the fight that he's going to be fighting Zerda Ramirez, cruiserweight champion. And the only fight that I've seen from him was against Bivol. And Bivol outclassed him easy in that fight. And I think that Benavidez and Bivol, I think that's going to be a very close fight because both fighters are high output guys. I see Benavidez beating Zerda Ramirez. I see him winning the cruiserweight title. I definitely think that he's going to fill out at the cruiserweight easy. He's a very big light heavyweight fighter, very big super middleweight fighter, but light heavyweight and big cruiserweight fighter as well. So I think that the size won't be an issue in that fight. I think that Benavidez is going to overwhelm Zerda Ramirez. I didn't really, from looking back at the Bivol fight, he wasn't impressive at all, Zerda Ramirez. And Bivol, he beat him easy from what I remember. So I think Benavidez is going to get a cruiserweight title next. But the one I'm looking forward to him is either Bivol or Beterbiev. Hopefully Beterbiev, he's not past it because I think he's in his 40s. But I think those are the two fights that are going to give Benavidez a recognition of the pound-for-pound great. But yeah, there's my reaction to the super card. There were some other good fighters on the card. Jesse Rodriguez, great fighter. He's another pound-for-pound fighter. I only saw the back half of that fight, but from what I saw, he just dominated. And, I think a big fight would be him and Inoue. That would be a great fight. But other than that, the card was really good. Even though I got my pick wrong, even though I lost a bit of money, I was kind of happy Devin Haney won because it's always good when someone sort of silences the doubters. So apart from that, the whole card was, went exactly how I thought. But anyway, there's my reaction.